Good morning. Hello, my friends, and welcome to January 2nd, 2026. That's right, it's the new year. It's hard to believe it's here, but I hope you all had a safe and healthy January 1st and, of course, the New Year's Eve. So, but today we are here at one of my favorite places to not only hike, not only does it show my love of nature, but also my love of history as well. We are here at Fort Howard, Maryland. Let me switch it. There we go. Fort Howard, Maryland. This was home to part of the Battle of 1812, the War of 1812. This used to be called North Point. And the British came in to invade, and between this fort and Fort Smallwood across the bay, they communicated with each other, and they were able to scare off the British invaders with help from a couple of sharpshooters who killed off one of their main generals, their main leaders, and it scared them off. And eventually, those same British went to lose at the Battle of New Orleans. So just to give you a little. Now, mind you, I'll admit, I'm never perfect when it comes to the knowledge of the history, the facts. But I'm more than, of course, I always learn, as we all do. So I'm more than willing to, if you find any facts that I get wrong, or that you want to add additional facts, but leave the comment in the comment section, and that's what everyone can learn from there. So, but yeah, you can see all the troops that used to be here, what the area used to look like, and part of the stuff where the homes are, you can't get into. It is actually bordered. There's a fence around it. It takes special permission to get over there. There you go. And it was even home to some celebrated animals. Frank was a white mule who pulled the lawnmower that ate the newspaper comic section. Yeah. He knew all the bugle calls by note, and upon hearing recall from duty, would burst from a stable. And in fact, I know it's hard to tell, but that is a white and brown patched deer. There you go. See all kinds of beautiful deer. In fact, one of the guy that just opened the gate leaves this corn so that our friend over there can have something to eat every morning. Well, let's keep going, shall we? Now, like I said, this will start. This vlog would be about, let's say, Fort Howard. This combines my love of nature and history, and it's one of my favorite places to come. It is free of charge. All year round except for Halloween season. In Halloween season, this becomes the Fort Howard Haunted Dungeons, and I'll show you some of the pieces of where the dungeons are. Here you go, another sign during the War of 1917. And originally this was called North Point, but then it was renamed Fort Howard after a famous soldier, John Eager Howard. See a few little trails. But yeah, so Fort Howard and across the bay, Fort Smallwood, were both in communication with each other, back then, so they could prevent the British from landing fully. There you go. Life at Fort Howard, 1920 to 1940. In 1938, the 12th Infantry was sent to the 75th Reunion of Gettysburg veterans. So 10 supplied food. Here's the map. So General Douglas MacArthur had addressed the troops at Fort Howard. Looks like they did some trimming since last time I was here. And yes, they do have a playground. And they even have a grill. So those that want to have a picnic here. And yeah. Fort Howard, Baltimore County, Department of Recs and Parks. So you can see, they have a playground. Artillery District of Baltimore, 1899 to 1920. It was called the Bulldog at Baltimore's gate. So here we go. We are here at Fort Howard, and Fort Smallwood they were the two main people that communicated to prevent the British from fully landing in Baltimore. But there's also Fort Carroll and Fort Armistead. So there you go. See grills, picnic tables. So you can in fact bring your family out here. We'll come back to this in a bit. We're here as a replica of one of the cannons. Let's say replica because you can see there's no hole. Yeah, tree planted in memory. one of my, when the sunrise is clear, one of my favorite spots to come to is the pier, the fishing pier. Because I love the water, and I love the trees, and this kind of combination of these trees here with the fishing pier. There is no swimming or skating because this is the bay. Ah, yes, the Chesapeake Bay. You know, I said there wouldn't be too much of a sunrise today as far as being able to see the sun because it is cloudy, as you can see. And there is Sparrows Point Shipyard. Now, at one point last year, they actually had a picnic table sitting right here, but obviously that isn't always here. So, but yeah, like I said, you can see the gorgeous, just the water, fresh air. Usually helps me breathe and helps me sleep a little better when I've had the fresh air. So if you're ever in the Maryland area and you have a day to enjoy, some free sites, this is definitely one of the sites that I recommend. Because, like I say, not only does it have great history with the Battle of 1812, the War of 1812, but it is free. The Fort Smallwood across the bay does in fact charge you about $6, which isn't bad. The money goes back to the restoration, the recreation parks and all that. But this is a free park. And like I say, the only time you have to pay for this is if you're going to come during Halloween. So that's if you're joining in the haunted festivities. And of course, as always, love for my grandma. See just a gorgeous view of the water. The artillery. Oh. Little squirrel. Let's see if they still have it unlocked. Ah, yes. Oh, somebody left the clock. The crock. Can't see much. But it's just an empty space. There's the wall. And yes, bathrooms, over the porta potties anyway. And here we are, on the top. Closer to the flag. Very peaceful when no one is around, obviously. And then over in this direction are the dungeons. There we go. The Battery Harris. Originally, Battery Harris had two 5-inch gun emplacements. After the guns were removed in 1917, a coincidence range finder station was constructed in the north side emplacement. The station was linked to the 3-inch rapid fire guns of batteries, Laser, and Claggett. So that's what it used to be, right there. There you go, picture lining up. Now this is a door that usually is locked. I don't think I've ever seen that one opened. And you can get more information by going to the QR codes that they have around. See trails. Ooh. Yeah, again, can't see much, but just dungeons. Just a wall. Yeah, can't see much, but it's just a room. Yes. Let's see. Oh, here we go. The Searchlight Powerhouse. The building originally contained the electrical generating and power distribution equipment for the fort searchlights. Another chance for information. Battery Nicholson. Named after Judge Joseph H. Nicholson, who led the volunteer artillery in defense of Fort McHenry, 1814. Battery Striker. Concrete gun emplacement that housed two 12-inch rifled guns mounted on disappearing carriages. Like that. And across the way now is a playground. Another nice little place to come. is this little mini beach side. There was a log here a little while ago, a few months ago, but obviously things change. Now, sometimes I've seen the water, when it's at high tide, it'll come all the way up to around here. But obviously, so you got the little things. Appreciate the little things in life. The shells. Sometimes you'll see a dead crab carcass, the dead shell. But you never know. Such is life when you're next to the bay. Frozen water, little frozen pieces. Speaking of, a big vessel. Now I will take you to one of my other little favorite spots. Down the trail. Trail to the water. And there's more information. The battery Claggett. This Endicott period gun battery was built in 1900. It was named for Lieutenant Levi Claggett, who died in 1814 defending Fort McHenry. And there's what they originally looked like. come back to that. Now for one of my favorite little spots. Ah, yes, screech owls. Yeah, here we go. Isn't it beautiful? Alright, now on our way out, I will show you that housing structure that we passed by. Civilian contractors at Fort Howard. The two derelict buildings behind the sign were the contractors' barracks and mess hall. The red circle shows where they are located in the fort. Below are some images from the buildings. So there we go. Because that's where the structure is. And during World War I, Fort Howard became an artillery training center. Now, obviously, can't see anything because it's dark. I don't want to be safe. But yeah, at least I can't see much. And I also want to thank you for joining me on this adventure. Today's post about Fort Howard. Those that like history and nature, yeah, this is a good place to come. And I usually, if I need to get some pictures, some quick nature pictures with like cosplay, this is good stuff too. In this whole area here, there's a Vietnamese village at Fort Howard, Duc Huc. In the 1960s, this wooded area was used as auxiliary training for U.S. Army intelligence at Fort Holabird in Dundalk. The site of Duc Huc, it was a mock Vietnamese village which operated here until 1971. There you go. Local kids caught trespassing on the property were transported to Fort Holabird and given a stern lecture before being released to their parents. Yeah, see, so they've been trimming because these woods were a little thicker last time I was here. Another information code. Harbor defense along the Patapsco River. Mines relating groups of 19 across the mouth of the Patapsco. Each group of mines were electrically connected. And at one point, this was a powerhouse, housed the generators for the fort's gun replacements. But it's now sometimes used as the restroom. The battery key. That's what was inside here. Battery key, the concrete emplacement that housed the 8 12-inch mortars on the mounted carriages. The battery was named for Francis Scott Key, who wrote the Star Spangled Banner. Hi, little one. All right, everyone. Well, thank you very much for joining me today, and I appreciate it. Thank you for all those who watch. And like I said, if you like history, if you like nature, join me on my next adventure, and we'll see you around. Till then, take care.